Alright, we're getting there. Fuel's looking fine. 20, okay. We're pretty much going straight up and down. That's what we wanted. Perfect. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to turn off these, so 1 and 3. We're going to turn on our landing boosters, which are 5. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. There we go. Now, these are going to flip us around, apparently. Okay, we're going to need RCS on then, because now we know we need to fix where these are sitting, because it's going to flip us backwards when we slow down. But that's all part of the test. Okay, so what we do here is we turn off 6, 5, 5. Okay, we're going to turn on those. We're going to point straight up and down, and we're going to land this thing like so. All right, moving 140,000 meters. Or no, not 140,000. That would be scary coming in on the moon. 140 meters a second. Slowly boost. Okay. Now, what we want to do is turn off those. So 1. Now we're just using the nuclear. I do want to kill off any velocity that I'm moving at that direction. There we go. This is actually a little scary, because at the last minute, I'm gonna flip this sucker around and try to land on my gear. This is what we call a little bit of, winging it, one would say. No pun intended. It's kind of really curious what they're seeing here. Camera, external. They're seeing some pretty scary stuff. All right, C, nope, C, not X. Slow down more. Gonna turn on these. Back off. Now remember, weight doesn't really have the same amount of weight on the moon, right? So we can possibly just bounce on our landing gears and not have too much of an issue. All right, here we go. We're about 3,000. Let's turn these on real quick. Now we're gonna turn that off. We're gonna flip. Ooh. We obviously have some stuff to learn, and we're learning it, which is the reason why we're doing this testing here. Usually, by the way, just letting you in on a little bit of knowledge, I usually do this on my own, honestly. Usually do this on my own, to the point where I'm doing this all on my test game. Now, obviously, I'm not doing that here. I think that's fine. It's kind of cool to show you guys what I have to go through in order to get a craft to function the way that I want it to, really. So this is the trial and error stage where we just keep trying to get it to land, see if we can. Fuel-wise, it's kind of close. It's a little too close. But the main engineering difference that we need to consider here, as I flip this sucker around, is that the landing boosters need to be repositioned. And that's not something that we usually get to test unless we're in 0G. So how do we test to make sure that those are in the correct location? Well, there's a few different ways, but the primary way that we're probably going to do it when we do actually test it is we'll go through and launch it into orbit around Kerbal, low orbit, and then we'll just test the landers to see if it flips us around when we hit them. I think that'll be the primary source of doing that. Yeah. Or maybe we should just use different thrusters for landing. Like maybe we should just redesign that system, that landing system, and see if we can come up with something better. I think that might be ideal, actually, now that I think a little bit more about it. We're going to hit the ground here soon. But I don't want to land on a weird slope. Alright, let's turn these on. Let's go ahead and... Do we want to slow down here? I don't know. I also don't know how this will land on its butts, which is why I didn't do that there, and I tried landing on the gears, but I was coming in just a little too fast, and with like a weird angular velocity as well. So, I think at about 5,000 meters, we have to start burning. Unsure, though. All right, let's go ahead. This actually looks like it's slowing us down enough, so we should be good here to try another landing. I was just kind of concerned with the terrain underneath us. It is quite bumpy. But, again, we gotta kind of test all this out. We gotta make sure that we can land on a variety of different locations, because, like, Minmus is very flat. It's got the plains, but the moon isn't, and there's also several locations within the system. You know, like Gilly is another one. It's just like a lot of bumpy moons that we can't necessarily land on. Is this going to slow us down enough? It might be close. It might be real close. 70, 60, 50. Oh, we have plenty of time. 40, 30, 20, 16, 10. Okay. I don't know if I should try landing right side up again, but I definitely want to try slowing down enough this time. I actually have an idea for this one. I think this will work. So I need to increase the amount of deceleration here just a little bit. I want to be going like sub 1 meter a second, close to that, and then I flip right side up. For that, I will need my RCS on. That should work. Okay. Do I want to quick save now? We're doing it. Because I got to test launching this thing back up into the atmosphere anyways, and this looks like it's going to be our best bet for landing. Wow, it's really pretty in space, isn't it? I mean, the easiest engineering thing I could do is just put landing gear on the back here. But that, I don't know, it just feels kind of cheaty. Like, that's not how this thing was designed. Maybe redesign it? Like that? I don't know. What I'm feeling is that I just need to get my landing boosters better. They're designed in such a way that it's flipping us around, and that's not ideal. Alright, we're getting real close to the ground. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright. RCS is on. Keep going. A little bit more. A little bit more. Alright, now. Ooh. That could have been better. Brakes. Each. Alright. Well, we finally did it. Alright, let's keep our brakes on. Let's turn RCS off. Let's shut down our engines. So, 1 and 3. It's actually quite pretty here. Now, we need to test all of our scientific data and gear. So, first thing is to extend the ladder. We want to go to Bob's perspective. Bob will turn on the camera. Get the external cameras running. That's upside down. I think I knew that was the case, though. We want to camera, external. That one. Camera, external. This one. Camera, external. That one. Actually, I'm going to switch these two around. So that one will go to this one. This one will go to that one. Good. Okay, so cameras appear to be functioning well. We can get a lot of idea on how this is all shaping up back there. Okay, so whoops, let's get out of this. All right, so like, let's say they took a, okay, we do have our way to transmit. Let's say we took our crew report. Okay, we'll just take that. We've already been to the Midlands, so none of this should really be too new. That is our seismic data. Keep that. Pressure data, there is none. Gravity data, keep that. Temperature, we've already done temperature in the past. The atmospheric test is not going to work. We'll do goo. And then there's the materials bay. Keep that data. Alright, I don't think there was any other scientific stuff in there. Right? So now let's... who's the scientist? Bob, I think, is the scientist. So he needs to EVA. And let's let go. Cool. Nice. EVA report. We'll keep that. Let's take a surface sample. And we're going to plant a flag here. This is important, right? This is really important. One, because we finally finished that mission that I had so long ago. We'll call this Thor Test Site, thank you. Landing. Number 1. A unique day for the engineers. Perfect. Good. See, we had this mission to do this moon contract. We finally did it. That's good. All right. Now, let's climb back up and get back in. This thing looks like it... Oh, there was one more test we needed to do. I almost forgot. Let's turn our lights on so we can really kind of look around here. So we want to just kind of boost around. And we're going to examine it. The craft, that is. Just make sure that everything's functioning. I want to make sure that there's no structural damage from, honestly, the flight out of Kerbal more so than anything else. But we just want to check around. We want to make sure that this is all functioning properly. It looks like it is. The wings aren't destroyed. This all looks good. Okay. All right, so let's... all right, I want to fall off the wing here and use my little RCS boosters. We want to see if the Kerbals, this is an important test, can fit in the cubby here. It does not look like it. Nope. Okay. You may ask yourself, Zen, why is that an important test? Because if I wanted to recover some of that science stuff, I need to be able to fit in there, but that's fine. I think we're good on that front. The cargo bay looks fine, or the docking bay rather. We got our cameras working. There is one more thing we could do, I suppose. Just to land here. Switch perspectives. And IVA. Oh, no, wrong one. Can I... No, I gotta go back. IVA for him. Yes, we can see that he is back there. He looks like he's doing well. Good. Oh, I just noticed like it has all these displays for our fuel and everything. I really like that. So basically, he could just like dance around and everything, and he would be able to be seen. So they're reading positive signs that they can actually see in their reverse mirrors, which is good. That was a Kerbal for scale, I think is what we call that. Just to kind of see the scale of what we're looking at. All right, board. Boom. Okay, he's inside. Now, how do we actually launch this sucker back into orbit? Well, first thing is we need to be facing the right direction. We are currently not facing the right direction. So we need to turn off our brakes. No, we need to turn on our brakes. We need to enable some stuff with this. If I can actually click on the gear. Uh-oh. I don't know if I can. I'll have to... Camera angle. Just get it inside. No, I don't know if that'll work. No. Okay, so, well, I guess I could do this one. So, enable motor and enable steering. So, then we unbrake. There we go. We don't want to run over our precious flag, but we do want to continue steering this sucker. We're facing north, and now we're facing east. Perfect. Now that we're facing the right direction, we can actually launch and get into orbit the correct way. Perfect. Brakes. Okay, how do we do this? This is the tricky part, right? We want to put our ladder up. We need to know that 3 and 4 do those. We want 4 off. We don't want to use 4. But we want to use 2. So we're going to hit 2 after... Nope. So these are going to get us into the air, off the surface, and then we hit 2 to accelerate off into the distance. Whew. Quick save. This is going to be intense. RCS on. Up, 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 up. 2. Okay, 6, 7? Not 7. 5. There we go. That could be redesigned to be a lot better, but it wasn't bad. That's the important thing. So turn off our brakes, put our gear back up, and we're off. Okay. Again, that could be a lot better. We're going to have to redesign our landing thrusters. Maybe actually put them on the bottom of the wings. Ooh, that would be cool. I just got an idea. All right, but the problem is it needs to be balanced, so all the thrust is pushing on the center of mass, which should be generally right there. And the center of mass will change as the fuel gets burned off too, so I got to keep that in mind. All right, we're going to full burn and get back up into orbit. All right, this is now at 30, which is what we wanted it at. So let's get to our apoapsis. There we go. Now we switch engines. We point prograde. We get out of this. We turn those off. We turn these on. And our efficient engines will get us the rest of the way into orbit without using the rest of our fuel. Now, obviously, getting back to Kerbal might be a bit tight, but we could do it. Now, what we're noticing here, and this is important for our engineering, is that we have plenty of fuel with these nuclear engines to then orbit, get within a transfer period to the Aurora, and then dock with the Aurora. So we have plenty of fuel with the nuclear engines to be able to do that. The thing is if we weren't using those engines, we would have been out of fuel by now. So these engines are critical for our maneuvering capabilities once we're in space. That's good to know. With that in mind, we can now re-engineer our landing boosters to be sitting at the right angle and maybe to have a bit more boost on them. And then from there, we can move forward with the Thor's design. I'm liking this. This is good. This is good progress. Yeah, it's really, really good. Okay, let's get back to our apoapsis. We've managed to accelerate it past us. And now we have an official orbit, but we do want to get that to about 30,000. Boom. Perfect. Orbit around the moon. So how do we get back? Probably just using the nuclear engines, and then we can re-enter the atmosphere because this is an aircraft, right? It does have wings to generate lift, which means we could just go back into the orbit and into the atmosphere of Kerbal like we did with our first test. So it all comes together. Perfect. But now we're safely in orbit around the moon, and I can kind of figure out a way to do that. The optimal math is going to be needed here in order to make sure I have enough fuel. So I'm going to have to go do a lot of math. Yeah. And set up a maneuver node. Wish me luck.